Good morning, and thank you so much for being with us on UBC TV. That I can never get tired of doing. From 6:30 till now, with this extension, which is Good Morning Uganda, and you have been with us. Really appreciate, and please always make it a date with us. In case you've just joined, I'm Robert Chirabonyonyitono, and this is Good Morning Uganda Extra. But a simple reminder and a quick one, every weekday we are here. There's some fantastic folk from 6:30 to spice, to brighten, to lighten up, to inform you of what is happening locally and internationally, to give you all the updates so that we usher you into that they are a very informed person, yet all the baggage and stress of the night we take away. So rise, shine with us every morning from 6:30. Now, today I'm having a very interesting character, a man I can say has contributed so much to the education sector of this country. He has been education himself, and when it comes to arts or performing arts, well, he's also been there. He's a grandparent, a parent, and of course, an icon when it comes to the field of education. Join me, welcome Fajil Mande. You're most welcome.
Thank you very much, please.
You look good. How have you been? Long time.
I've been all right. I've kept good health. I had a few problems, but they have gone off. And I'm beginning to get my voice back, my vibe back. And I think I'm ready to continue with the work which I meant to do. Yes.
Fajil, if there is anyone I must say has served in various capacities, RDC, Commissioner Education, in the drama, I will not forget you in Second Chance, Ugandan version of it.
Yes.
You know, how do you make all these up? You're there writing your books, you are an education consultant, you're into drama, fitness, then also you spend so much time at your hotel, you're in hotel business, then again, you're so passionate about child upbringing. I remember when I was young, I attended one of your holiday camps. You know, you still have time for all these. It was the first time I was learning to sleep outside at night, but for a good cause. So how do you make all these things?
Well, first of all, it is my belief and makeup. I grew up and I made up my mind that I must know a lot of things. I remember later on, when I went to secondary school, there was this jargon where they were saying that if you do so many things, you end up being confused. And even in senior 4, I never believed that. I believed that, and just like I believe now, that in the world today, multi-skilling is the thing. You must have many skills. You must have many skills in, just like in business now. People can hardly survive by doing only one business. So multi-skilling now, meaning exploit all your gifts, use them, develop them, and put them to use. And I go back to the teaching of the Bible, you know, which I really strongly believe in, that one, God packed us with the talents. And he said, go and take control. Using what? Using the talents which God had packed us with. So I grew up, particularly when I went to secondary school, that how many of those talents am I discovering myself? So I took part in sports, I took part in debating, I took part in, not even just one sport, I took part nearly in all the sports, including athletics, including swimming, including lawn tennis, and so many stuff. And the whole idea was I must develop what God put in me and put it to use. So that's how I've managed it, and I got used to managing them. I mean, for example, when I was at the secondary school, I was a weightlifter at Mengo Social Center. I started acting at the National Theatre when I was in senior 2. I remember I was selected to go and act a play with Kayayu film players. I mean, Mukibi, He's one of my first producers. I took part in boxing. I was in the debating club. I was the secretary of the Muslim Students Association. I was a class monitor. I was a head boy. And involved in many other programs. And at the same time, I was working in my village. I was digging pit latrines. I was digging, I was repairing walls with mud and water. I was fetching water. I was moving around with sales products for certain ladies, and I was moving with them. And the whole idea was I must learn how to do many things, and I must learn how to make things that can make me stand on my own, and also on behalf of other people, you know, in terms of earning. So I have never been broke in my life. I've never been a poor guy, because I've had all means of doing things. And that's the most important message now at my age of 74. I still want to pass on.
74, this man can split. If you're not aware, one of the things he's passionate about is looking after his body so much, regular exercising, and that is one. But now going into today's issue, which is promoting the culture of reading and writing.
Yes.
One person said, if you want to hide something from an African,
put it in a book.
Put it in a book, you know. And there was an article I was reading of a parent on the graduation of his son, who gave the son a book and put some good money there.
Yes.
The other put a car key. The son just even said, but daddy, and threw it away. Just kept it there, not knowing that there was hidden gold in there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, coming to Uganda, we're no different when it comes to the culture of reading and writing. Now, you're talking about promoting this culture. Many people have written very good books, almost a solution to everything in this country. And no one bothers. Some have them for prestige, you know, but reading them and understanding is a challenge to us.
Absolutely. And this is mainly because we have not emphasized that aspect of education in the whole system, which you know, I know very well. You get me? We have not emphasized writing books and reading books apart from those related to examinations.
True.
You get me? When you look at, for example, the life of a university student who goes to do a degree course, and you look at which other works of writing has this person read in order to expand their understanding of life, in order to expand their sort of skills. Are you getting me? You find that they have only read textbooks or printed notes. You get me? But for me, it was different, because when I was in senior one, really, senior one did miracles. I attended my secondary school at Lubiri Secondary School, and I was a class monitor all the 3 years I was in, from senior 1 to senior 3. Then in senior 4 I was a head boy. Are you getting me? So among the things also which I did earlier was understanding leadership. Are you getting me? So those led me. But the thing which I remember even now when I recall what I studied, and it doesn't mean that I didn't study the other subjects, but when I look at the sciences I did, the mathematics I did, all the geography and all this, all the subjects we did. And back I was among the top students of my class. I never went beyond the 3rd position. But the books that remained in me and influenced me into what I am, who Fajr Mande is, were literature books. Books which we were studying as a course for literature. I remember a book like Oliver Twist. I remember a book like Treasure Island. I remember a book like The Lord of the Flies. I remember later on a book like The Death of a Salesman. I remember later on when I was in Jamog a book like The Outsider. These books really worked on me. When I look at the books which I read of science and chemistry and so on and so forth, there is nothing really that remained in me or changed me. I learned them. As you know, science is can be a dead subject if you are not very, very careful, because it has no human feelings. Are you getting me? It doesn't. But for me, I go over there, and if I were time, I would tell you that this was influenced me with this. Then from the books, even the movies which I watched, I started watching movies very, very early in my life. Because I told you I started earning my little money when I was 8 years, 10 years. By the time I was in secondary, I could go to any cinema hall in Kampala. Are you getting me? And I never watched silly adolescent films. No, I watched films on war, films on espionage, adventure, and so on, because I wanted to build myself with those skills. So the books at school helped me. The movies I watched helped me. And then also I learned a lot, by the way. My mother used to work as a house girl here at Kitante Courts. And she was working with Bazungu. She was serving as a house girl. Some of these people were accountants. These were ladies and gentlemen who had come to Uganda on order to come and do some work for the government of Uganda. And you know what my mother did? When she got the job, she started taking me with her on the weekends to translate for her. Now you can imagine this little boy living in Chebando, because I grew up in Chebando, you know, barefooted, okay, talking to a Mzungu. It has a way to transform you. You see, and then you discover, particularly when I was in secondary, that this is a doctor, this is an accountant. One of the men took me, he took me to the Ministry of Finance here. When I was in senior one, he took me to the Ministry of Finance to show me where he was working. You can imagine that rising up. I left immediately the life of my little village life, my narrow thinking, and went broad. And for
because
me,
of the exposure.
Exactly. I went broad in, I must train myself. I must be up there. And I've worked and remained up there. And I know I'll die still up there. Because that's my makeup. Are you getting me? I know I've got a purpose, and I've got to fulfill it by doing what I'm gifted with. And I must continue looking for my gifts all the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Continue looking for your gifts even at 70 plus.
Yeah,
the man
exactly.
is not giving up. It's not lost hope. Now, Fajil, when we talk about promoting the reading culture, you said one, our education system doesn't do that. We only read books that we know they have content that is helping us answer and pass. Most so no doubt of late today, we do not understand in our education system. We cram.
Yeah.
Of course, there's been a change in the lower secondary curriculum, and we thank our government in that direction, though it's still also a bit tricky. I saw them demanding for courseworks and all that.
Yes.
But at least it's a step.
That is a good beginning.
It's a good beginning.
Yes.
Now, how then do we promote this culture? If it's not within our school, does it go to parents? How best can we do this?
I think, we just have to pick up. I say when the going gets tough, hold the bull by the horns. It's one of the chapters in that book. When the going gets tough, hold the bull by the horns. All right? We just have to say how much reading is being done. Reading to understand, not reading to cram. How much reading is taking place in our schools. I remember there was a time when I was headmaster of Kitante Primary School at one time. We had library lessons. And there was a campaign in the Kampala city schools about using libraries so that the children learn how to go to a library, select a book of their own, read it, and they were accompanied with some bit of questions to ensure that they are reading on purpose, you know, that sort of thing. And it worked. But of course, that has not been pushed. I can tell you there are many Ugandans here, maybe even some in UBC, who don't know that we have got a big library, public library at KCC. Because libraries are not being pronounced, they are not being promoted, you know. People don't know where the libraries are because we have not insisted. So let's put their programs in our education system of reading on your own. And this is one point which is being emphasized, but with the new curriculum, okay, the competence-based curriculum. When the students use a lot of group discussion, they use a lot of presentations, they use a lot of doing work on their own, including reading new materials, but we need to reinforce that, really speed it up, because the world is moving so fast, we are getting more and more even lost now. Even some of the skills of reading to understand are being killed by the new technology. I've been saying that very soon you may find that, I've predicted that within another 10, 15 years, schools will no longer be required to teach handwriting. Because handwriting would not be necessary, you just kusereza, and you know the whole thing. Just like you see now, how many people have developed their adding, calculating ability.
Very
you
few.
give a university student 17 times 2, he will not give you the answer that it is 34. Because the calculation ability has gone, technology
the calculators
has
are
taken
everywhere.
it. Are you
Yes.
getting me? And I think countries are not aware. Uganda is not yet aware. We think about it, but you know, so we need to introduce the programs. And then, of course, we need to actually revive, ladies and gentlemen, if there is anybody there in authority, okay, we need to build up the 2 other schools which take education. Education has never been only based inside the classroom of the formal school. Education has always been on the 3 cooking stones. There have been education at home, the first school, and luckily enough, I wrote a book to that effect, Learning from Home, the Mother of Schools for Your Child. School, home, is the best teacher of anybody. You and me, we grew up and our foundations were built by what we were doing at home. A deliberate and written curriculum was being taken there. Then the second school was the school of the community. How many communities hold seminars and workshops, training programs for the aged? When I was growing up earlier, there used to be, for example, at the Gombola levels, through the cultural programs, there used to be training programs for mothers, for wives,
community centers.
Community centers, are you getting me? But that school of the community has died. Are you getting me? The school at the home has been killed. And I'm pleading all of you watching me today, please, we need to revive those 2 schools. That's why now we are producing people who are only theory. People who finish doing a degree, by the time they are in senior 5, they cannot even speak properly. They cannot read properly because the other skills which were being passed on through the communities and the homes are no longer being passed on. We are all. That's why people were crying during the time of COVID. Open the schools, open the schools. Kumbe, they didn't know what to do with the children at home. Are you getting me? Me, I experimented and worked some kids. And by the time COVID ended, they had gained 15 skills out of the home schooling program. You get me? So we need to do that. And we need to encourage reading. Are you getting me? I was meeting a corporate company recently, and we were sharing as shareholders. And I was saying, all the corporate companies, all the private companies should start programs where they can train their staff instead of just using the staff to serve. Are you getting me? I keep saying, if you've been working in a bank for the last 15 years, you really become less than a robot. You are just looking at this banking business, then the 4 walls of the bank, then the computer. You really don't ever get to know outside there. You have no skills. So I was saying, these working places should take back their responsibility of constructing you, so that even when I'm working in a radio station like a TV station like UBC, I now am being trained, for example, in critical areas like, for example, parenting. Are you getting me? Okay? Like, for example, preparing for retirement. Like, for example, financial literacy. Are you getting me? So that as I'm serving the organization, I am also being built to become better and better and better. But presently it is work for the institution, let it be better and better, but it cannot be better and better unless the workers get better and better. That will demand also writing and reading. Are you getting me? So I think that's what we need to do. Reading. A school like, I was giving an example, I was discussing, I was taking at, because sometimes I go to teach in various places. I go to teach in the army, I go to teach at Chankwanzi, I go to teach, I've taught everywhere, really. Are you getting me? And I say, we should have in each of those teaching areas a set of books which must be studied by everybody, regardless of what subject you are taking. When I went to Chambogo, that's the early 1967 up to 71, we had a course called Liberal Studies. And by that time, I did not understand it in the first year. Second year, I started understanding. Liberal studies was being conducted regardless whether you are taking PE, like I was taking physical education myself, I was taking English, but we had to do liberal studies. Even if you are doing economics or whatever, you had to do liberal studies. Liberal studies was a set of books which were meant for us to change the way we are looking at life. And I remember which books really even contributed to changing my life. Are you getting me? But which books do we have? In our system, we don't have that. We only do the mathematics textbooks. We don't what? When I put my books in the bookshops to sell, they tell me we have sold very little because people are buying only textbooks. Are you getting me? So which books are we studying? Which change us? Which tell us about the Western world today, which tell us about life, which tell us about the amount of effect of technology now. Are you getting me? We don't have any. Only the cramming of the textbook and passing exams. And when as soon as you pass exams, actually you begin failing today.
Well, I'm with Fajil Mande, an education consultant, with whom we are discussing how best can we promote the reading and writing culture in this country. He's a man who has written a number of books. At least I've read about 4 of his books, and I find them very interesting. One was about parenting, then the other was about retirement.
Yeah.
And there's a very good one that is about raising what he called a fully packaged person.
Yeah.
If you read that book where he talks about how today we are not having fully packaged children that we are raising, that are going through our education system. So he's written a number of books. I don't know in total how many books he has written so far. And each of them looks at critical areas, away from just the education system. It looks at how do you have an all-round chap that you're having in your home? How do you develop the inner man, the body? You said this is the body.
How do you develop the mind? How do you develop the emotions? How do you develop the energy? How do you develop every part which God put on you and put it to use?
That was something that really touched me.
Absolutely.
Not only saying my child performs very well in school.
No.
But your child can hardly, he gave an example, if he's studying in Nakasero, this child can hardly leave school, go to the taxi park, get a taxi, come home. He's used to daddy drops me, daddy picks me.
Yeah.
And for you think it's okay, this child can hardly even make a mat, a rope or anything like that. And for you're comfortable, he was even in the newspapers, he got, you know, he got 4 in 4. Well, after this short break, when I return, we'll be discussing what drives Fajil Mande to writing books, well knowing that sometimes the reading culture is poor. What motivates him? Book writing today in Uganda is not something that one can think it can take you for.
As the quickest business.
As the quickest business. You know, as something that you're going to earn from. And say I'm a very good book writer, so people will buy my books in plenty. But what is the driving force behind that? Let me see you after this short break.
Thank
you. Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
Juko.
Yo.
Wachikuwa. Check the shopping, man. What's your secret?
Uganda, haven't you heard of the parish development model, PDM?
Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk.
No, Sebatia. It is real. I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a portrait project, and now things are moving.
Juko. I thought I was one of your friends.
You are.
But you left me behind.
I didn't leave you in poverty. But what you do, just visit your LC2 chairperson and your parish chief and start the process of economic transformation. Just like that.
Okay.
The parish development model is an initiative from the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government designed to transform all lives of Ugandans for the better. PDM, my parish, my development, my life.
Hello, darling.
Hi, Granny.
What did you do this weekend?
Well, on Friday, I went on a science trip with my classmates to Windy to see the gorillas.
Then we watched the cup final in London.
Oh.
On Saturday, my friends and I met up to hunt some dragons again. Also, I taught the vacuum cleaner and the TV this new dance everyone's doing. They're really getting into it. And on Sunday, I went to bed watching the world from space.
With Airtel 5G's lightning-fast speeds and seamless connectivity, you won't believe what's next.
Airtel, a reason to imagine.
Ireland have qualified for the Women's World Cup for the very first time.
It's unbelievable.
What a summer to look forward to.
Big girl energy straight out the gate. When I'm up with my boots, yeah, I came out the place. And the sun coming up, new day. All summer long, gonna kill it. Replay it. Sydney, Auckland, making waves with my girls down under. Get it out, get to talk with my colors. We gon' be the best in it, I'm certain. Strikes defeat, fast as lightning, sound like thunder. Sound the war round, shut the show down. I listen and couldn't slow down. On the whole night. Sound the war round, shut the show down.
What an amazing effort. Little John!
Sound the war round, shut the show down.
It's the Little John. Ireland on its way on the world stage. What a summer!
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
Welcome back from that break. Thank you so much for being with us on UBC TV. Once again, I'm Robert Chirabo Nyonyitono, and I have an education consultant, Mr. Fajil Mande, with me, with whom we are discussing the writing and, of course, the going hand and reading culture. Now, this is a man, like I told you earlier, who has written a number of books. I don't know how many, because I've read a few, about 4. But still is still in that business, and soon he'll be launching this book. That is Fajil Mande, an African icon. Now, Fajil.
Yes.
What keeps you, you know, book writing is a very expensive venture. Launching a book of this volume, having, like your books, you know that people who say they're writing books, yet they have pamphlets. There's one I know every time he says, in my book, entitled, and brings some thing very funny calling it a book. But this is a book, I must say. Now, having something of this costs a lot of money, from printing material, from the editors, from proofreaders and all that, costs money. But you never lose hope. You keep on writing and writing and writing.
Yeah.
What's your driving force?
Because for me, one, I believe, and really this is the truth, ladies and gentlemen, I believe that I was created to be a changer, to be a controller. And I say, this is why I am on earth. I'm not on earth to only eat food and just go dancing and whatever it is. No, I am on earth, one, to enjoy the gift of God, the gift of life, which God gave me, and to add value to the world, beginning with my immediate environment and my neighbors, men and women, children surrounding me. Otherwise, I say, God created all of us. But which job is it to maintain us? I don't think God will come down to earth and teach you how to walk properly, or that you need to do physical exercise in order to maintain the beautiful body God gave you. No. Okay? So really that's I believed it, and I believe it right now. I am a changer. Even when you go historically, what I did in the Ministry of Education, what I did in anywhere, even when I was a head boy, even when, did I tell you that when I was a head boy, by the way, at Lubidi Secondary School, I introduced a program of serving porridge in the morning after discussing with my headmaster, Mr. John Smith, who was a British gentleman. I said, if we want to fight the culture of late coming, I am proposing, we had sat down with my cabinet of prefects, are you getting me? I said, I'm proposing that we begin serving porridge in the morning so that the students come early to eat something, because I knew by that time, some of them were leaving home without eating. Are you getting me? The gentleman, the headmaster, accepted my proposal. And I'm telling you that proposal did what? Did the miracles. Students, the late coming cut by less than a quarter, more than 3/4, until it went away, because people were aiming to share the porridge in the morning. You can see, again, that's a big change, which I had at that age. Are you getting me? All right? So really, for me, I'm a changer, and I believe it. And even any book which I write, I know exactly where I think the change should come from. And the content is there. I'm not just writing books for commercial to make money because I am making fun and what. Even the plays I acted, they were all aimed at changing. Even the poetry I wrote were all changing. All the programs which I introduced in the Ministry of Education, you know, were all accepted by the ministry because they would bring about a change. Secondly, there is actually, I believe in this, that when you read a book, you rejuvenate yourself. You renew yourself. Whenever you read a book, which is well written, are you getting me? Okay? You have a new mindset. You have a new emotional control. Your body feels differently and your spirit changes. But there is also another saying which goes parallel, not parallel, but together with that. But when you write a book, you are writing a book to change the mind of the reader. You are writing the book to get even the reader to stand up in a mirror and look at his body, which he has never looked at whole. Are you getting me? So when you write a book, you liberate a fellow man. I think I'm a liberator. Not think. I work for it. I'm a liberator. I'm a changer. And I'm telling you, for me, I keep saying to myself, and I say it now public, I don't know how we shall be judged up there by God, but I know one of the things we shall be asked is, what did you do which was in the image of God when you're on earth? And what did you do to take control? Count them. I have my list which I can count. I changed this, I changed this, I changed this, I changed this, sir. I was in control of this, I was in control of this, I was in control of this. And I'm sure he will say, go to heaven.
Assumably.
Absolutely.
Well, because we are told that.
Yes, because me
on that day, not so.
Okay. So for me, really, that's what drives me.
Now, that is what drives you. But Fajil, one wise man once said, the richest place on earth is the grave. Because very many people go
die
there
with all their gifts,
with untapped potential.
Absolutely.
Now, I have interacted with very many wise people in this country, and I only wish they had written books about certain topics. Very good economists die, and there is nothing left behind for us and generations to come to read. When I try to interact with a number of them, why don't you write a book? Because someone speaks a lot of sense to you, and you're like, but why don't you write a book on this topic? You know, why don't you? You're a very good marriage counselor. Why don't you write a book? You're a very good expert in agriculture. Why don't you write a book? They tell you it's very expensive. Now,
and because they are not connecting it to their role on earth.
And now, I know this is not ministry, Fajil. That you're serving the Lord. Where you don't look at how much you get. Of course, recently things have changed. These are the most wealthy people on earth, somehow. But how do you balance 10 or 4 books a year, massive investment, and I don't believe the money comes back quickly? Sometimes I've attended some of your launches in expensive places as well. Now, where do you balance the boat? Passion has limits if it's making me get losses.
Yeah. No, I think the balance comes, first of all, the balance comes in your head. When I feel I'm contributing positively, instead of carrying a sad face, I smile. Are you getting me? I walk. I mean, like when I move around, they say, but Mr. Monday, you are not 74 years. Why? Because of the happiness of the mind. The happiness of the mind and the happiness of my body comes because of the balance of the things which I am doing. So I balance it because I take it as one of the most valuable things that is happening to me. What keeps me happy is my success. How much am I achieving? Every time I succeed something, if I do a program like this one and you get feedback that the program was educative, it was helpful, I say amen. Are you getting me? Really, that's my belief. So that's how I balance it. I know that behind it, you keep hoping that maybe people will buy more books and buy more books and buy more books. Because apart from causing the change, and you remember you made a statement which is very, very clear, that people, the richest place is the grave. Because I think I read somewhere else where it was said that by Africans, by the time we die and get buried, we have only used 15% of our abilities and our talents and all our things. I have said Lord. I will not die with 15% spent. I want, if I can, why can't I spend 100% for goodness sake? Are you getting me? That's my strong belief. So I know one of the ways of doing that is by writing books. The books I write are expressing my rich thoughts. I believe that I'm a guy with rich thoughts. Me, I am not embarrassed about blowing my trumpet. I know I've been a very good worker. I have never failed to do any job. I mean, I've never failed to do my job successfully. I've never been fired at any job. Are you getting me? I have never cried for poverty. I mean, under poverty. No. And I've never stolen. Are you getting me? I have brought up my children, 8 of them, now about 18 grandchildren and 2 great children. None of them has failed in life. None of them has no job. They are all employed. Are you getting me? So I have a lot of beautiful things which I would like to share with fellow men and women out there. And one of the ways is put them in a book. So that they are read, the books will be read by Ugandans here, and they'll be read by other Africans and other people in the whole world. Because the thoughts I have may not be common everywhere, even if they were common. But for me, I've put them down. Are you getting me? So me, I am balancing it that way, that even if I lose, at least I've done one thing. I have put my thoughts there. Are you getting me? I would like people to know why is Fajr Monday known as a timekeeper? Are you getting me? Why is Fajr Monday known as a tough guy? Tough not because I go whipping people, no. But people know that when I say something, I mean it. If I was going to visit a school to inspect it, everybody would be on alert because they knew I am a serious guy. I'm not going to beat them, but I know even how to check. That for me, when I go to check a school, I don't go just in the office to get some little money from the headmaster. I begin with the behind. I go to the toilets. I see where the maggots are, where they are not. I am a different worker. Now, those are the things I want to share when I write.
Now, very interesting. This book is going to be launched soon. Is it on the 22nd?
22nd of August.
22nd of August at the National Theatre. A brief, what entails in Fajr Musa Monday, an African icon?
Okay, fine. First of all, that book, as we have said, is going to be launched at the National Theatre on the 22nd of August from 2:30 o'clock, 2:30 in the afternoon, to 7 o'clock in the evening. It's called Fajr Musa Monday, an African icon. One, in short, it's about an icon. How do we make a Ugandan? How do we build Ugandans who are icons? An icon is a person with an admirable character, somebody who can be an example. Are you getting me? So it's about that how many men and women can be an example. Even if they are an example to their own children. Are you getting me? How many people are not an example in any way? So we are looking at what programs should we carry out in Uganda to build up men and women, all of you viewing us here, because all of you have got capacity to grow up into somebody great. But the question is here, we are tempted to say, I think if you are going to be great, okay, you have to do things like this, like this, like this. Taking, for example, the example of what Fajr Manda has done. Are you getting me? All right? Now, that book also is, apart from showing the icon, is actually, in short, saying, what will you do? What can you do without stealing, without being a robber, without being a murderer, without being a liar, without being a fornicator? What will you do in order to be great? Because an icon is a great person, great, okay? And that greatness is what makes us really love life. You say, you want to be great after doing that, all right? Really, it's that we want to plant to people, to excite them, to scratch them, by giving an example mainly of what Fajr Monday has done. Are you getting me? All right? Then, of course, this book, What Fajr Monday Has Done, has been put together, has been extracted from the newspapers of Uganda, from all the writings of radio stations and all programs we have run in Uganda. So what the newspapers in Uganda, and I'm talking about the newspapers like New Vision, Uganda August by that time, the Topic, whatever newspaper, Bukit Day and all this. Why has Fajr Monday been written about by the newspapers a lot? You know, why? Okay, that's what is the question being analyzed here. And we get the extracts. So the book is full of extracts from the newspapers with all of the names of the newspapers, the writers of the articles there, and then other interviews which were carried out by the person who put down the book on why. The conclusion was that the newspapers are like the mirror, the truth sayers of a country. Are you getting me? The papers were expressing not negativity, they were expressing positivity. So it is these positive publications that we've put together. Are you getting me? If they describe, for example, how I resigned from the UNEB, if they describe how I served as a personal assistant to the Vice President, Wandera Kazibwe, you know, they were talking of the good. So we put these newspapers' writings together to portray what makes an icon. Wow. Are you getting me? So this is a compilation of, by the way, this compilation was put together, the stories were put together, the interviews, because they are stories by the newspapers and other, not the normal social media. We didn't use the social media, but the real papers, because I strongly believe
the traditional media.
The traditional media. The traditional media really can build a country. And when they make a judgment about somebody's performance, it is most of the time accurate, and that represents the eye of the public. Are you getting me? Okay, so that is very, very important. And then we also did some interviews. The man who put the story together did some interviews with the selected members of the public about some of the issues which have been discussed in the newspapers. So then we put that together. And this, I was going to tell you that this compilation was put in my head. One time, I have done very few celebrations of my birthday. I think I've done so far only 2 birthdays. One when I was 50 years of age, and one when I was 70 years. And I'm planning to do my next birthday when I'm 80 years old. Are you getting me? Okay. So when I was 50 years, my eldest daughter, my daughter, put together, without telling me, she put together articles from newspapers which were praising his father, praising her father, praising her father. And when we are going to, she gave me as a gift a compilation. I think it contained about 36 newspaper articles. All right? And when I read it, I said, really, this is an invention. This is good. This is when I said, really, if this is only, only about 36 items are there, how much more information which can help other Ugandans about me is there? So that's why with a gentleman called Kivumbi Benjamin is the one who has compiled this story here, put the stories together, and then we sat together and refined them and designed them into the one. So that's when Benjamin and I agreed, let's look at the papers.
Well, Fajil, time is not so much on my side, but very interesting. Fajil Musa Monday, an African icon, 22nd of this very month at the National Theatre from PM up to 7. Please be there.
And we inform the people that we are not charging entrance fee.
It is just free of charge.
Come there and enjoy yourself and learn. Come there and actually accept to be changed. Because
first I just want to thank you so much, because indeed you're an African icon. When I look at some of the positions Fajil has worked in, and he has clean linen, is something that is not so common of Ugandans we have today. He's been in the papers for good reasons. There are many people, if you went and picked articles concerning them, yes, they have been in the papers, they have been on radio, on TV, but it's about negativity, scandal after scandal, and some, their names are full of scandals. But a man who has worked as who has chaired the Universal Primary Education Implementation Committee. He has formulated the UPE guidelines, member of the Uganda Examination Board, member of the National Curriculum Development Center, formulated guidelines for licensing and registering private schools, registered private, inspected over 1,000 schools in various parts of the country. Hey, the list is endless. So much. So I don't want to continue with that. But thank you for being a true icon. As we move out of the studio, parting shot.
Now, I would like to, ladies and gentlemen, to attract you to come and attend this. We know we have planned it cleverly so that you can benefit by being. That's why we are not charging for the entrance. Are you getting me? Okay. Other people will be taking part. They will review the book, and from the reviews, you will be learning. There will be some parts of the book which will be demonstrated, some few parts. All right. But please do come and bring a friend or bring your children to come at the National Theatre. We can take 375 human beings there. By the way, even the MD of UBC will be one of the people being there, and he will talk about inspiring Uganda through writing and reading books. And that's the spirit. And that's very welcome. I want to join Uganda in inspiring, UBC in inspiring Uganda. Let's all get together to change this country. It is you and I that will do this.
Well, no addition to that, a man who has lived a test of time and indeed is a true African icon. Be there as this is being launched. Have a lovely day. See you tomorrow, God willing, for God and my country. Good morning.